Hello, my fellow Ekkoners. Today I'll be reacting to a bit of a different video, and this one is gonna be a coaching session from Veigar V2, where he coaches an Ekko mid. He actually has two coaching sessions very recently, so I'll be taking a look at both of them. This is the
This is
first one.
that I would never in my
I
life
think this is a little
play
bit lower
with tags
elo.
on. It's just useless. It's just no point.
Okay.
Just takes up space in your
I
queue
also
and
don't have name
can
tags on,
distract
so yeah,
yourself
I'll
from
just
everyone.
be
And I mean
looking
here,
for things to
level
take away
1,
from this.
right now, you should only be standing here if they have something like a Nautilus or Blitzcrank where if you walk up to here now, they would like go up and hook you, you know?
Also, I'm gonna pause real quick. Just the reason I'm gonna be taking a look at this is because I personally am interested in learning a little bit of Ekko mid. So yeah, I just want to add it to my repertoire. I don't know if I'll like genuinely switch over, but I think it's definitely a good thing, you know, if you're able to play a lane and jungle as well.
But I don't know if you do this every game, right? So just make sure that only
Okay.
play safe if they have like hook or Braum or something, because
Okay,
enemy
so you
team
should
can
be
now run
getting
like
some
this,
info, I guess.
and it's your job to stand here to see that.
Okay, so I don't cover one set, I just cover in the middle always.
Yeah, you just cover here.
Okay,
just
Ekko
stand
versus
cover
Ori, it
both.
says on the top left.
You see Garen standing here.
I think
so
it's one of
he's
the
supposed to come
somewhat
here.
a little bit more
And then you
difficult
see on the
mage
top
matchups,
AFK,
but it's still a mage
Ideally,
matchup,
Garen
so
stands here,
not
someone
that
stands
difficult
here,
overall.
here, here, here. Then you have full line vision, you know?
Okay, this is very
So, again, I
general
would do
stuff.
Dark Steel refill
Not really.
here and just play
Okay,
for early
interesting.
recalls.
Okay, that's good to
Shit,
know.
Your map is dark. How can you play like this? It's perma-nocturnal.
Yeah, I mean,
It's kind of true. I've never seen that. What the fuck?
This feels better,
yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't like when it's like so bright, you know, so I turn it down.
but you can't see shit, dude. What the fuck is it?
Okay.
I was like, what is going on here?
Yeah, this is very dark. Like, I don't know how you can
How
play
does
like
it
this.
look with skill shots and stuff later? I mean, I guess we'll see. I mean, for early lane, the goal is to have her push into you. Your champion is completely worthless level 1, and you're gonna have to farm with Q. And if you farm with Q, you usually end up pushing. So you want to make sure that
I don't know if I
you're not
agree with
hitting
that
creeps or something like
overall.
this. Champion like Ekko, that is
Like, yeah, level 1, 100%, but like, I feel like into mages you can look to get level 2 early, like before them, and then get a good trade-off with passive.
weak
So
level 1, I'm a melee
it
champ.
might be the case that Ori is just too strong, you know, like that could be for sure true. So I'm not sure, like that's what I want to learn, you know, like this kind of stuff, matchup and whatever I'll have to play. But I feel like in general into mages you can
If you can
also
make
try to
her
get level 2 early.
tank creep aggro in a situation where it's not so good for her, then go for it. So for example, if you stand here, right? Once the creeps have all like aggroed on each other, if you stand here and she stands here and hits you, she'll tank the whole wave. And that will make the wave push into you really quickly. So you'll lose like 70 HP by tanking an auto and Q, right? But don't you think it's fine to be this HP?
This is the kind of stuff I want to learn.
Yeah, for sure. So
Okay.
just stand there and let her auto me, like that's
Yeah. Yeah, like here now, once the wave has met, like this, I would stand here now and just like stand
Wait,
still.
I'm just confused though, like if she gets minion aggro, then these minions will attack her, right? And not keep attacking these. So how does it start pushing into him then? Like I don't quite get
Now,
that
if her
logic.
champion is really OP level 1, then you might not want to do that. If they have like a PTA Lucian mid, right? Then we're not talking 70 damage. We're talking an auto into E into a double auto from passive PTA proc 250 damage.
Yeah.
So then that's bad. But Orianna is
I want to
only
know
gonna
what
deal,
this
like,
guy's
70
elo
damage
is,
if you Q auto
because
you.
this
That's
feels a
completely
little bit
fine,
advanced, you know.
and you should want to do that. But make sure you're not standing here. The goal is to make these.
But the early laning phase is for sure the thing that I struggle with the most, so I guess
Because you
this
see
is
now,
very
right?
good for learning.
Now you're gonna have to look to Q.
Yeah.
But when you Q now, then you will hit all of these creeps.
Yeah, that's a big mistake I also
and you
often
end up
make.
pushing into her.
Or like, yeah,
Then
I
the
do
next
when I
task
play on
will be
autopilot,
harder,
I
and
made
you'll
that
have to
mistake
move
as
further
well,
up,
but I know it's
And
bad.
then all of a sudden the wave ends up here. And that's
Mhm.
really cringe. That's why I would let her auto me.
I think this is a little bit lower elo, but the other
And
session I
use
know
it,
it's like in master elo,
which I
so
would-
I'm
Personally, I would never give that.
definitely
so much.
interested to see
Again, the whole
what this
point
guy's
of
doing.
having teleport, the whole point of having potions is so you can farm. So when I Q
Okay.
here, what are you scared of? If you click forward and immediately auto this, she will maximum auto you 2 times and do 1 Q, right? It's like 110 damage. Is that really gonna kill you? You have passive health regen, every champion does. So the 110 damage is not.
So okay, this is a very like general thing you need to do. You just need to think about the game. You might say this, but I'm gonna say this as well. It's just like you need to think about the whole game in resources, you know. So it's just constantly trading HP for gold, trading mana for damage and this kind of stuff, right? Like this is the kind of thing he wants to say here. I'm pretty
It's
sure.
going to be 110. It's gonna be 110.
It's like yeah, being at like maximum HP is kind of resource inefficient in a way because you're not using your health regen, for example.
100, right? And then 90, and then 80, and then by the time you take damage again, it'll be like 70 damage done. You're not gonna die from one time taking a trade, and if you do make her Q you here, you're also gonna make her lose last hits, right? If you Qs on top of these melees, look how shit that is for her, right? And here you should just Q only this creep.
So yeah, this guy's
This is
definitely
really
playing
bad. Like,
very
again, you want
passive
to
and
wait
he's
from
just ruining his
turns,
wave states with this
right?
kind of stuff, yeah.
Because we wanna have it push into
This
her.
is such a big deal,
Right?
honestly.
All
Like
in
this is
her
how you
when
instantly
she's
lose
here,
lane with Ekko
not
if
when
you
she's
just
here.
perma push with your Qs.
Right? So this now will make it harder to farm, but also harder to all in. So you need to practice throwing your Q like on the side. And you should also, something I noticed, is that you keep standing like this so that your Q like insta hits it. But you can stand here and cast Q and it'll still reach this, you know?
Yeah.
So, because when your Q hits, right?
Yeah.
It hits and then,
Can definitely use
just
the
like
range
that.
more.
right?
Definitely
It
agree.
travels a bit. And that's a massive skill to have as an Ekko player because you're going to have matchups where you cannot stand this close to farm, right?
Yeah, they would just poke me. Yep.
Yes. So then you would need to stand here and you can still farm this. So that's something you should learn because this will get abused. If you're against a Cassiopeia here and she's level 2 and you Q like this, she's gonna Q you and run you down.
Yeah, Cassio, you need to be very, very careful against.
So here you hit, your positioning is also good for level 2. Just click back now. Yeah, just click back. I don't know why you go for the...
That was okay, but I think it would have actually been better to throw the Q first before
here
E.
hits
You know,
you.
like now throw the Q, then E, then you can proc passive right away, and then you maybe actually are able to stand behind her. You know, because what he does here is just too slow. He
Positioning
E's
is
first.
good for level 2.
So yeah, the position is really good, and like this guy is not respecting it at all. But the fact that he starts his combo with E is just always a mistake. In situations like this where you are already in range to hit your Q, you should always start with Q. So imagine he has Q, he already applies one stack, he gets on E, applies a second stack, he's gonna be able to auto attack one more time and instantly proc passive. You know, like this, he just has to take these extra little steps, and that's why he's missing out on possibility of hitting the return Q. In this specific scenario, I think he might not have been able to hit it either way because of the tower, but
Click back now.
just generally,
Click
I
back.
mean,
I
he
don't
had the
know
right
why
idea, right? He wanted to hit it, but the Orianna has
second
face
part of
rush,
the
so
Q is really troll to go for. Look,
yeah. I mean,
Already
in
at
this
the
situation, I
beginning,
guess
you
it
want-
is because of the tower. He
your
can never
Q is
really hit
like
it.
40 damage here, no? It's like completely useless.
Yeah.
By hitting this Q, if it hits, which is gonna be lucky because she's playing face rush. If it hits, which
Wait, what?
you've already
If
achieved
it
there, what you
hits,
want.
she doesn't even have face rush
Your
proc
Q
yet,
is
though.
like 40 damage here, no?
I'm confused
like
by that
completely
statement,
useless.
Yeah.
to be honest.
By hitting this Q, if it hits, which is gonna be lucky because
He means the return Q. He means the return
if
Q. Never
it
mind.
hits, by putting yourself here,
Yeah.
you remain inside of this wave for longer, and you allow her to auto you more. You're always gonna take now.
Yeah,
2
so I
times.
guess the takeaway here, I'm just gonna say it before he says it probably, but it's just like take the small win here, you know? Like this is not even that small a win, it's actually a pretty sizable win. Like don't be greedy, you know? Like this is already really good. It's a very solid trade. Just wait for the passive circle to disappear, you know, and go in again if she
And it's the
oversteps
damage that your
again.
Q will ever do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So in the early game especially,
only-
it's also very notable. It's like in the early game the outgoing Q actually deals more damage because the only reason the return Q starts dealing more damage in the later stage of the game is because of the AP scaling. You know, in the early game the outgoing Q AP scaling is 30% and the return
Try
is
to have
60.
your Q hit if it's gonna proc the passive, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But here you got your auto off. So this click here should be like here.
Yeah, I agree.
And then the trade would be super fucking good.
I mean, it was
But now
still
it's actually
fine.
shit.
Shit, he's saying it's shit. I mean, it's
And she should
fine.
click
I guess
forward,
she got a
See
bunch
there
of
how
auto
much autos
attacks.
he gets,
So
right?
yeah,
And the
would have
creeps?
been 10 times better if you
That's
just
not like
clicked away right away. It's definitely something I'll keep in mind
So
for
this is
myself
good.
as
You're
well.
just only lost the thing.
Yeah, gonna.
Imagine
okay.
now doing these trades, and the wave would be like a little bit more here. Would be a
Yeah,
bit
that would
easier
be
to, like,
amazing.
run.
The Orianna would be just completely out of the game.
I would also ping for help, because not because you necessarily want a gank. You just want
Ping
your
for help, okay.
jungler to like know what's happening in mid, you know? Because I don't
Ooh,
need
that's
help,
interesting.
but I want help, right? Because to me,
You know what? Like, I'm gonna write down some notes. I think actually what I think is really interesting is just like the ping help, just so the jungle looks there, you know. And then I guess in the end we can also I'll just recap, you know, so everyone can learn from it. And then also I guess taking small wins, you know, in the lane, especially in the early
flash
game.
here. And I don't see why Veigar wouldn't necessarily want that. Like, Veigar wants to snowball, and if we get Orianna's flash, then we can look to just perma camp her. And we can both get fed that way, and it benefits both our champions. And if he chooses to full clear, then I'll
This
just...
is pissing me off. Is this pissing you guys off as well? The way this like perma pops in and pops out, like this is so
I know, right?
obnoxious. I know
Just
it's the
like how I
YouTube
was
meta
saying
though.
that you want gank, she should also want gank here.
Okay,
It's the only
he's
problem
just
here,
like
your
not
W is
doing
really
anything
shit.
here.
Yeah.
What's this guy doing? Okay, let me just like
It's the only problem here.
let's see what he's gonna say about it, but let's see what needs to be the reaction here,
Just
guys.
like how I was saying that
See,
you
like
want
he gets
gank,
hit by
she
the
should
Q
also...
here. For like, first of all, he should probably try to dodge it with E, but that might happen. But the reaction needs to be auto attack, Q, W, proc passive, run away, and then you can probably even hold your E in this situation.
Want gank
Like,
here.
he never has to flash. He never
It's the
ever
only
has to
problem
flash
your
here.
W is really
Like
shit.
this guy is literally just standing there AFK. Did he not even say anything about that?
Gank, she should also want gank here. That's the only problem here, and your W is really shit.
Yeah.
I think the W is completely fine. I don't know what Veigar is saying
But
here.
just like how I was saying,
Like it's completely fine to just place a W somewhere on top of him here. He just needs to react. Like you can see how many
that you want
how many
gank, she
seconds
should
in this
also
fight
want
he's just staying here. He's not even like he's canceling this auto attack even
gank here.
that he was winding up.
That's the
Look,
only
there's
problem
zero
here,
stacks
W is
applied to
really
this
shit.
guy.
Yeah.
W is completely fine. Like this is such bullshit what he's saying. He just has to react like a normal human being. He just needs to auto attack you, either like E auto attack if he really wants to get out fast, or he just waits for his normal auto attack timer to come up again, and he's gonna proc passive and run away, and he's chilling. He never has to flash here. Very weird that Veigar
This
V2
is
doesn't
really
mention
fucked
that.
now, because like
Yeah,
I
it is
said,
really
you have
fucked.
one chance to recall, which is your teleport, which should be giving you a really good base.
Yeah, this is definitely
so that you
awful
can
with
lane
300
without
gold.
TP. Now your
Can't even
lane is
get the
stuck,
Dark Seal.
because now you TP back with something useless that will not help you push and get a next recall without
That's
TP.
true.
So for example here, if I'm you right now, after you did this trade, you're now pushing the wave really hard. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So what you could do now, for example, using the push that you have, using disadvantage, 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 right? These 3 extra casters. Using your wave advantage, why don't you just hit creeps now, right? Pop your potion, hit creeps, and then cast your Q on the wave and push. Crash
Could
the wave.
literally, I think he could literally all in the Ori here. Like she's in range, and he has his Q up again as well. Like this is a complete. I mean, we know that Amumu is down here, but like even then, I think he could trade 1-for-1 and maybe even escape towards the top side.
And drop wards. Because now, you're not playing to Ekko's strengths. You're just flipping the whole game here, and now you lost your flash and your TP for refillable potion.
He's buying refillable potion as
Feels
well.
really
It's
fucking bad.
wild. He just skipped.
And then now, if she just TPs back, then it also gets cringe. So you have to try to crash as fast as possible. This is good.
Yeah.
This is good. Now just recall.
Okay, now you can get the Dark Seal. Yeah, okay, he's
that's
doing
good.
that. That's
I
fine.
realized she would TP back. It's not bad.
I still think he actually had a window to at least force a flash. I guess he probably wouldn't have killed, but he could have
Because
definitely
the thing
gotten
is,
a
like,
flash.
Your Q
And maybe
cooldown
with his own flash, he
is
could have
so much
followed as
shorter
well.
now, see? So when you use E like this, you're playing a combo champion. What I mean
Yeah,
by
yeah,
that is,
that's
let's say
bad.
you're playing Syndra, right? If you use your stun, and then you use your Q a little bit after, and then you end up with Q up, but then you don't have E, then you're useless. Or, let's say you have E up,
That's
but you
true.
don't have Q, then you're useless. Because you can't use them both together. And if
Yeah.
Ekko now...
And like the important thing about this is the fact that you need like the main thing what I emphasize so often is that you need to proc your passive with Ekko, and if you, as you said, you are a combo champion. If there's one of these two parts, like the E or the Q missing, it's gonna be very difficult to proc your passive. At least like the like exception to this is actually if you're playing Hail of Blades, which I have tried and it has felt pretty nice, I have to say. I'll also react to some Hail of Blades gameplay, because then you can easily proc passive even without the Q.
has Q up,
If you just
but
E on
no
top
E,
of
are you useful?
enemies.
No. So good player will run you down here and crash their wave, and you can't punish in any way.
Yeah, but
What
definitely
should
like
always
the
happen here,
main takeaway
when
here, I
you're
guess I'm also gonna write down is like don't use abilities unnecessarily. I never know how to write unnecessarily. I definitely didn't
playing,
write it correctly here, but
versus something like Orianna,
yeah.
when the wave is like this, you will have one WEQ trade that you can look for. Because here, imagine now you have E up.
I mean,
she wants to crash this wave, of course, right?
So if she walks up,
Okay.
you can punish with the E.
So now that she walks up,
now he doesn't have E and he can't
then
really
you can
punish. I mean, he
WEQ.
could do now.
Now,
Honestly, like right now, I think you should just look for a trade. Just like trade, get the passive prog, especially if she misses her Q like that, you know? See.
so
I mean,
now that she
it was definitely a mistake that he used E, but it wasn't a monumental mistake because, like you can see, the when she enters lane again, it's only on 2 seconds,
up,
so you can still punish
then
here.
you can
You know, she
WEQ.
misses her Q here, now he needs to go in. Like, sure, he might get hit by the W, so I'm actually not sure how he could do it. Like, I think this one step back was just a little bit too much. If he was able to dodge it up here, then he could for sure go in right
Now,
away.
The great thing about Ekko is you don't have to go in just because you W'd. You can cast your W and see, okay, this will hit, and then you go in.
That's
Okay,
the big thing, honestly. Like that's a big thing. Don't like just don't feel forced to follow up your W. That's how I'm gonna word it. That's the thing that I sometimes see like people do when I coach them or whatever. You don't need to follow up. You can, but you don't need to. You can
But
just
this
go
is a
fishing with
perfect
it
time
often.
to kind of look to trade because
Yeah.
she is so far up in the lane. If I get a good trade here, right? A good trade is this HP because that's what will.
One thing and to say is though, if you place your W here, you're probably just not gonna trade. So I think what I personally would prefer here is just to EQ on top of her and then place the W somewhere back here, you know, so you maybe can catch her in the way. Because if you W now, she's just gonna like walk backwards. She's not gonna stay here like an idiot, even in whatever elo this guy's in.
Then on the bounce, it'll be easy to play because she has to respect, right?
Yep.
So yeah, you should always
It's okay,
trade
like,
here unless the champion.
I guess his
can,
point
like,
is to
tank
play
you
more with
first
the
and then
wave.
run you down, which Ori can't really do if the W hits.
And the W is never gonna hit.
So yeah, like this E is just really disrespectful. If I was Orianna, I would turn around the moment you eat here, and then I would just crash the wave.
It was definitely a big mistake.
How would you say is the balance? Like, is it more important to like trade on this wave or to get the CS here?
I would look to trade always because you see here, if you're not doing anything, look what's happening to you. You're just getting fisted. You're playing as if you can't trade. But you
yeah, that's true. And that's a mistake I also find with myself oftentimes when I'm just like playing without confidence. I just the lane's really hard.
HP, so then you'll end up losing CS later anyways.
Just trade. It's so much more stressful for her to be a little bit low HP than it is for you as Ekko, honestly. Like that's the kind of mindset you need to have. If you're playing into mages, just like trade. It's basically always worth if they're low. Also, just the gank potential, you know, like a low HP mage is so much more gankable than a low HP Ekko. You know, like yeah, sure, low HP Ekko is also kinda gankable in the early before level 6, but like low HP Arena is 10 times more gankable because she doesn't have any movement spells. He doesn't have W. So yeah, like trade aggressively.
And like I said, she's gonna
if you can, of course. Like not into every matchup, but into mages you should always look to trade.
So this is really bad.
And now he's completely no, yeah, this is awful.
Even though he just ganked bot and has to clear. You are really lucky that he's actually a good player. Saying that he can't and he's following his own game plan.
That's true. Like this is another thing that never like as a jungler never let yourself get baited by like idiot pings, you know? Like everyone probably does this every now and then, but like, this is how you easily lose games. Just like do what you need to do, you know, and what you think you need to do.
Here I would just think what do I do after this wave, because you took so much HP
Could roam,
that you can also just recall, but you should fog to one side. So like here, bot lane.
Yeah,
right?
bot seems super free.
Look at that
Momo's even low as fuck.
Look at that wave. Watch. See this? You should always assume your teammates as 3 people can crash this wave, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So this is your timer here now.
He needs to ping that he's going.
Imagine you dive bot lane here. Isn't that huge?
That's huge, yeah.
Okay. So that's what I would
Let's
do
see
now.
what happens.
Is to spam ping bot here and look to dive.
Yeah, he needs to ping. Like, this is another thing.
You gotta ping.
I've said this probably in every single coaching session, but like, communicate with your team. I'm gonna write it down as well. That's basically what he was trying to say here. You know, spam ping. Like, communicate your intentions. It's so important. Like, his team. Look, they're on their own screen. They're focused. They don't know that he's coming. I can guarantee you, none of these people here knew that Ekko was coming to dive here. So in some I think in this situation they naturally just push this wave because they also want to dive on their own. But like, you need to tell your team what you're going to do.
Think Rakan is looking at minimap here when he's queuing Kai'Sa under tower?
No.
Exactly what I just said.
So yeah, you wanna ping.
This guy's screen is so dark.
And you gotta start doing useful things. Like if I'm Viego, I would have muted you on the spot when you're spamming him like that. And then it doesn't matter how smart you are, because if people mute you, then you can't call anything, right?
Yeah.
So
He's
you gotta stop
spitting
kill pinging.
facts.
Like people will just mute you, and then you pinging here.
This is such a incredibly free dive, especially if this
Yeah,
plant
the
is up,
result here
which
will
is
always
not.
be good. If she clicks back, she loses a wave. If she stays, then okay, you just kill her. Now,
Mhm.
after killing her, I'll be really interested to see what you do, because you should always recall. When you decide to do
Yeah,
this
never
play,
go like base
you
or
have
anything
given
here.
this wave. You are not getting this wave. You can't
Yeah,
kill
yeah.
her and
I
walk
mean,
back
never
to her,
go, never go back to mid.
because it takes too long. The wave will be dead, because she's now.
I think that the only thing is, like, if the Twitch is not here, then I think you might want to push, especially if he has recall and he can go mid. You know, then you might want to keep pushing. But if he stays here, I think you should just recall, go back
to
mid.
this play, she will push the wave, right? Always when you kill here, you recall, because you're going to make it for this wave from base.
I guess in this early, like in this
Everybody
early of the
needs
game, you probably just
There's
always
no
recall.
exception to this. Never.
Unless you are, if you are 0 gold after killing her, right? So like 300 gold, and you are 100% HP, full mana, then yeah, you can go mid. But 99% of the time, after doing a dive like this, you have a lot of gold because you pushed a wave prior to this, right? And you got a kill, and you're probably low HP and mana, right? So yeah, I mean, 1% of the time, yeah, you can go mid after. But here, always I would recall after. Yeah, just recall Blasting Wand.
You have to ult here. I think he did, but like, I'm not sure. I guess if he hit the Q, he didn't have to ult because then he could have proc passive.
Yeah.
I don't even know if he had to ult, to be honest. Like, he was still quite healthy.
It's worth it for sure. It's always worth it. Of course, it feels like piss when you look at tab, because you see, oh, I lost a wave and Ori gets a plate, and it looks like you're getting mega gapped, but this is the difference between your two champions, you know, like, you need shit like this.
So how much would you say is acceptable? Like,
I don't agree with that
You
statement.
lost one wave to deny Kai'Sa 2
Like,
waves.
yeah, see, like, this video is about snowballing and roaming, but I don't think you need to roam with Ekko. I think Ekko's also completely fine staying in lane, like, farming up his items and then scaling, because he scales so well.
Plate, give your bot lane a reset, and give yourself a reset.
Very matchup dependent, in my opinion.
Always worth. And
especially if you play for something like Halo
Like I
Plates,
said
you have a lot
here,
of kill pressure and a lot of
you can tell now
lot of
whether or
lanes
not
as
we're backing
well.
off. You see here, Kai'Sa wants a wave. So now you commit. If Kai'Sa ran to here, you would now go back to mid and lose nothing.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yep.
So it's always worth it. Look how
Yeah.
happy your Twitch is. Watch. Twitch gets played, he gets assist on this kill, Kai'Sa loses this whole wave and the next wave. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now, this is when we're actually playing Ekko. Now you're level 7, and you have a bunch of AP. So this is when you don't really want to lane anymore. You just want to Q the wave and fuck off. And just roam and roam.
That's a
and roam.
fine playset, but I
When
think in a
see
lot
her
of lanes
here,
you can also kill.
You have 2 plays
honestly.
you can do. One, you can walk up and try to cheese all in her, but
yeah, you can W, but he needs to do that before the minion wave spots him. I think in this situation she's a little bit too far away for that, though. Like, I think this kind of play is not gonna work in higher elos when people know what you're up to, you know? When you walk into here and he's gonna get spotted by the enemy minions that are gonna be arriving in a second here, I don't think it's gonna work.
It requires her being bad, or you can
Yeah,
just
it
walk up
requires
and
her being
wave
bad.
already. I prefer
What he
doing
says,
the
yeah.
second option in almost every case, because
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
if you go here and then she isn't that bad that she just gets all in by the most obvious Ekko cheese ever, right? Then you lost your chance to like one-shot the wave. So I
Yeah,
prefer
that's
to
how
just
it
Q
is.
the wave and just go and one-shot Herald here with Viego, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And another
Just play with
story
your
is that
jungle.
I kind
Like,
of
that's what Ekko's really good at, you know? Since his wave clear is so strong after level 7, you can just play with your jungle, and that's what you should be doing most of the time. Either play with your jungle or go on the side lanes if there's opportunities.
Like when we're doing a play here and I go for a play here. Ideally, you join the bot play, like you did the
What?
dislike with Herald here with Veigar, you know? And another small thing is that I kind of dislike when we're doing a play here and I go for a play here. Ideally, you join the bot play, like you did the last time, you know? I prefer to...
I guess because the Viego's also bot said he wants to just make the numbers advantage as big as possible, maybe?
one play at a time and support this play, unless I know 100% what's going on in the game.
Okay.
Let's say I
Makes
know
sense,
I'm
honestly.
bot,
So
and let's
I
say-
guess I'm gonna write that down as like commit to your team's plays, or like don't force to. I guess yeah. The point is just like there's never something I've thought about in this way, but like don't try to get too many things at once. You know, killing bot here and like making sure this will work out is much more valuable than getting something here and getting something here. Like okay, getting something here and here would be better, of course, but it's also much lower percentage. I guess.
I looked bot lane here and I see all three of these guys are 100 HP and I know 100% my teammates, they're fine. Then you can go top. But here you don't know if Amumu's in this bush, right?
Yeah, don't.
Mm-hmm.
So you'd rather go here and then clean them up here if Amumu isn't there. And if Amumu is here, then you're the one turning it around because you're the one making a 3v3 into a 4v3. And that's
Exactly.
mid-gap. That's your advantage
That's
over
mid
Orianna.
gap.
Okay.
Bad.
Cool.
Yeah, I guess Veigar V2 is really not going on about like the mechanical side of things, but this is really bad. You know, like the fact that he uses rocket belt, you can tell this guy's never watched an Ekkoliner video in his life. Like the fact that he engages with the rocket belt, all he has to do is W, EQ, rocket belt, boom, bang, pow. This guy's dead.
Okay.
Like,
Okay.
I mean, this is fine. I guess he at least hits all of his stuff, but it just takes way longer than it has to take. And then he's super greedy. Never ult here.
Not
Like,
sure about that ult.
yeah, never ult here. This guy's dead like 10 out of 10 times, such a
Why the
waste.
fuck is this guy taking your CS?
Yeah.
Why does he want to side?
I think Veigar V2 should, like, I understand he's not really going on about mechanics, but he should really say that this is a very, very bad ult. Like, it is such a bad ult. Because this guy's, like, he just wanted to look cool, honestly. Like, this guy really just wanted to look cool, finish off with the ult, but it's an awful ult.
Not sure about that ult.
Yeah.
Not sure why you wanted to realize. Why the fuck is this guy taking your CS?
Yeah.
Why does he want to side lane?
And then Viego takes 5 CS2 now. In the
Well, that's kind of absurd. You've been harassing that guy the whole game. I don't know why Twitch is trolling you, but this is good though. It's not bad. But the set is very slow on rotation. Like, look here. Set is mid now, right? And you should always want to take the next wave here. It's just sometimes you can't because maybe they
But now you can
So
because
you gotta ask yourself, who is gonna kill me? Because Orianna.
they're not here, and the bot lane for sure can't.
Really, actually have to be scared here.
Yeah, he doesn't.
Like
Like they're literally playing ARM.
Because it sucks having to give this wave. Because see now,
Did he give
now you
it?
slow down the time it takes for this
No.
to crash, which essentially gives them more farm because you give them opportunity
Yeah,
to get there.
definitely you
right?
could have pushed
But
that.
you also lose the wave.
He even
If
had
you
ult
just
up
one-shotted
again.
this and crashed it quickly. Then
Merc's
they
also a
lose it
mistake
faster,
here.
and you gain CS.
100%. Right. Let me see full team.
Then
There's a
they
plan
lose
here.
it faster, and you gain CS.
Where's the top? Okay, I mean they have a Mumu. Okay, there's 100% worse games for the Mercs, but I don't know. I mean, a Mumu on his own is definitely a lot of CC. That's kind of hard to dodge sometimes. He is kind of solo AP here though, so I don't know. I think you can still get away with Sorks here. This is also what I'm saying. I think Mercs are good here if he's really fed, you know, but he's not really fed. He's almost half CS of the Orianna, so I think the more ahead you are, the better it is to buy Mercs in this kind of game. I think in his position he has more value if he just has more burst, you know. He also has a really fat Garen, so
You should want mid-wave first, though.
I think it's better to just
how
do
you
more
know they're not
damage.
fucking 4
he's
people
not the
here?
main target.
Right, so having your Twitch be on mid-wave alone is kind of troll, no? How do you know they don't have a ward here and Nautilus doesn't just flash on top of Twitch's head here and kills him?
But is that really my job? Not like Rakan's job to...
Okay, let's say Rakan is mid. What do you do here, 1v4? You guys cannot get the vision here without flipping the game when Garen and Veigar is here. And you're also not gonna go on Dragon until Twitch is done with mid wave. So just go mid, press Q on the wave, and then you can all go together.
Yeah. He's also like, if they were doing Drake, he's not gonna steal this Ekko mid here.
Mid wave. See? It's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
Now you have to ulti immediately, and now Rakan is dead.
Does he?
Yeah.
Now you have to ulti immediately.
He didn't
and
even
now
have to ult,
exactly
actually.
what I said.
Could have eat. This guy was really slow.
Now you have
Like, he could have dodged with E and then not ulted.
to ulti
Disagree.
immediately, and now Rakan is dead. Before
And that the
you
Nautilus already had
even
used
get
all
your
of his
fucking
CC.
threat here. Yeah, this is good read on your W. That's good W.
Yeah, the W was very good, I agree. That's why it hit 3 people.
Oh my god, Garen.
Also good ult. Yeah, that was a solid fight. Honestly, like, by far the best thing we've seen from this guy all game.
This is good read on your W. That's
Yeah,
good.
very good W. Like, always try to put it in between, like, these corridors, kind of, you know? It's very, like, because that's where they're gonna escape, if they will escape. And in this case, like, he just puts it kind of where the fight is happening, but it's also still, you can see, right, it's kind of on the edges of both of these walls, so definitely a good W. Always try to put it there. Even use the E auto attack reset here.
They should get aced here in the mid team.
W is fine, it's just for the shield. I mean, he even gets the Nautilus because he misses his hook.
I don't know why you hate tanking a Mumu Qs and not Nautilus Qs. Look the HP of your Veigar. Why don't you click into a Mumu? Why are you dodging his Q?
Okay. I guess, especially with the W, I'm gonna write down is like actively look to tank abilities for teammates, especially with W shield.
Because
For sure could have done that.
Yeah, but you have ulti up and
Yeah,
you're
he's
free
full
KP,
HP and like ult up. Yeah, he's completely chilling.
Like, I'm not saying that Veigar can die,
That's
right?
definitely something I've never really done purposefully, I guess.
All I'm saying is that a Mumu, maybe he Qs this guy and then walks up an R's Twitch and lands double ulti, and then Ori flashes over the wall and lands fucking shockwave.
Yeah.
It's
Sure.
the point is, it's the only way that you can lose, right?
Mm.
So yes, I know you are Ekko, you are not Malphite, so you're not thinking about tanking skill shots from your teammates.
Definitely
But
good. Like that's a
If
very
you're
good
playing
takeaway for me
Yuumi and
personally, I
you're
would
level 1
say.
in bot lane and you're against Ezreal, you should tank Mystic shots, right? You should tank Ezreal Qs.
Yeah.
Same here, you are Ekko with 3k HP right now, and you see your teammates over here. You don't want a Mumu to get on top of your teammates here.
Yeah, if he stands
Only
here
way
or
you
something,
can lose here.
just blocking this guy, then it's
So
definitely
you
much
should click
better.
into him.
That's true.
It's not about playing for yourself. Of course, if Veigar is half HP and you're half HP, then yes, you should probably keep yourself alive, but you are fine here. And your default is to run away, which is really grief, because then you help a Mumu gap close towards your team, which you don't want to see. Now
I mean,
you got double ulted.
Oriana's not there anyways,
Here we
but
can just
his
end
point
it.
is definitely right.
You have Ekko Garen with Baron buff, so it should just be easy to push.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. He really doesn't even give a fuck about the ending here. So yeah, let me show you the notes that I wrote down. So ping help to make jungles just to look, you know, like to make jungles look, to let them know what's going on. If you feel like you have a lane state where in the next couple of minutes, like 1.5 minutes maximum, I would say, something might be possible, then you should just ping, you know, like ping for help or whatever, just so your team looks there. I think that's a small thing that I've never really thought about it in this way. Then like take small wins in lane. I'm gonna say as well, like take small wins in lane when it comes to trades. So don't get greedy, you know. Then like don't use your abilities unnecessarily. This is very general, but in lane especially, it gets like this. I don't know if this is correct, the way I spelled it, but yeah, like in lane you can get punished. Like good players will for sure punish you if you use your E or whatever in a bad way, 100%. Then what he also said, don't feel forced to follow up in your W. Like your W can, like, bad players, they sometimes just get baited into following their W for no reason. Yeah, it is a long cooldown. You don't want to throw it out like for no reason. But if you, like, for example, if someone else steps into the picture or whatever, you don't want to go in there and then die. You know, it's just not going to be worth it. And just see if the enemy doesn't react properly to your W. I guess that's the main point I'm trying to make here. Then communicate your intentions with your pings always. Like, this is such a big thing that I see a lot of low elo players lacking with. Just like they're missing communication for no reason, and it's such a simple thing to do. You know, just ping when you're on your way somewhere. It's gonna help everyone out, and just put yourself in the shoes of the people. Exactly the point he was making here at some point, right? With the Rakan on bot lane or whatever, where he was saying that the Rakan is for sure not looking bot, or for sure not looking at his minimap when they're fighting here. So just understand that, right? Like that's why you need to ping. But he's gonna see when there's the Ekko on my way ping on his screen. And then this is what like they commit to your team's places when you see your jungle, for example, being on bot side, it's just generally better to join there than going top. And I think that's a very, very solid advice overall. And then I guess the last thing here in the end, actively look to tank abilities for teammates. When you're healthy, I guess, even though you are, like, of course, if it's an ability that's gonna one-shot you somehow, don't tank it, but like, you get the point, right? Something like an Amumu Q in this specific situation, and that you want to tank it, and this kind of stuff I'm sure happens all the time. And then especially with the W, you can actually tank quite a bit. So yeah, I hope you guys could learn something from this video. I definitely actually learned something. I'm very curious to see the next one where he coaches a master player, because I think this was probably Emerald or something if I would have to guess. So yeah, definitely curious for that. And yeah, I hope you could learn something. If you did, be sure to leave a like, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.